When credit crisis struck, bank smoke swiftly drifted out like a free perfume. At this moment, a cop passed by, saw thick smoke from the bank, thought of takeout, and rushed over to find the doors locked tighter than his fridge. Just as he was calling for backup, a silver gun poked him in the head, and the robber said, "If you come any closer, I'll start my own reality show." I'm serious. A robbery occurred inside the bank. The cop retreated behind the wall for help, giving Kenty to bystanders. 5 minutes later, SWAT arrived like they took a rocket. They sealed off the streets around, attempting to cover the entire galaxy. Police called in an Wyoming armored vehicle. Negotiator Fraser arrived, launching an unprecedented hostage rescue like an action movie is opening. Inside the bank, robbers herded hostages to the high-end floor, separating VIP from ordinary passengers, then demanded keys and phones as if for a party. Most hostages complied, except the bank manager, who only handed over the keys, claiming his phone was at home. But the crafty robber didn't buy it, clearly tired of the at-home excuse. He pressed the gun to the manager, threatening, "Lie, and I'll show you your innards." The manager instantly burst into tears, like a fountain, but he still insisted he didn't have his phone, like he was on a reality show. The robber chief started checking phones. He found the manager's name, called, and found him hidden in the office. The robber chief yanked him into the office, watching the manager slump to the floor, while the other hostages were too clever to try any tricks. Not only a bank employee handed over a hidden key, but a kid was scared into giving up their game console, clearly understanding the survival rule. The robber chief then ordered the hostages to line up by gender and demanded they strip down to their underwear, seeming to plan a fashion show. The other hostages complied, and the robber pulled out pre-prepared masks. He gave them 30 seconds to change outfits, leaving them unable to see each other like they were all playing Who's the Spy. At this moment, an elderly bank clerk struggled to breathe, but the robber surprisingly helped, pushing him out. But because he was wearing the same outfit as the robbers, as soon as he stepped out, cops tackled him to the ground, hands tied. Poor guy just can't catch. He told the cops there were 4 robbers, and they were all dressed like the hostages, leaving the police scratching their heads. This left them with no choice but to wait and see. Meanwhile, the secretary informed Chairman White that the bank was being robbed. Chairman White, who had been in rough waters, initially stayed calm, but upon learning it was the first branch in New York, his face turned pale. He immediately dialed Congressman Midland's number and arranged to meet at the beach specifically for the sake of privacy, where eavesdropping was significantly more difficult. But seasoned politician Midland was not easy to deal with. Facing a Titan felt like a dream. The call from White was definitely a big deal for Midland. White finally revealed his demands, clearly prepared for a grand showdown. It turned out that a safe in the robbed bank contained sensitive documents, and if exposed, White's wealth would burst like a bubble. Faced with this tricky dilemma, Midland was exuding confidence, as if he'd just had an energy drink. Then he rushed to the city hall to meet them. Although the mayor was busy with official duties, he greeted Midland with a smile, clearly unable to resist Midland's enticing charm, feeling like a character who's been bought off. But entering the secret room, the mayor changed his tune. Like a different actor, he knew Midland held the trump card. He asked the mayor to take him to the scene and persuade the officer to meet the robbers. "If it were easy, we wouldn't be exposed. That's impossible." Outside the bank, a robber pushed a hostage out again, but this time things got more complicated. The hostage was bound, and a suspicious device hung around his neck. SWAT members cautiously approached, hoping it wasn't a random hiker's magical backpack. The robbers demanded the police provide 2 fuel-filled buses and a spray-painted private jet before 9 p.m., threatening to kill a hostage every hour. They also claimed to have planted a bomb in the bank, threatening it would blow up if they made a raid. The robbers' demands were truly outrageous. The police obviously couldn't completely agree, so Fraser suggested they play the waiting game, like they were playing chess. Meanwhile, the robbers surprisingly opened the doors again, as if welcoming guests. 2 robbers escorted a hostage dressed in the same outfit, and the hostage handed a note to the police. They needed the police to provide food and water for 50 people immediately. Finally, an opportunity came. Fraser had his team hide a listening device in a pizza box and personally delivered it. This gave him his first face-to-face opportunity with the robber chief, trying to gather useful info through conversation, but the robber ignored him as if watching a one-man show. The pizza box bug was their only breakthrough, but Rob spoke a foreign language, sounding alien. Fraser quickly called in a foreign language expert, who helplessly suggested, "This is too riveting. You should bring your girlfriend to watch." Looking for a partner? Choose gender, high education, quality, and verified info reliable. At this moment, Fraser had a eureka moment. With so many immigrants in New York, someone on the street might just understand. He had his team blast the robbers' dialogue through a megaphone and sought help from the crowd outside the police line. Sure enough, within 10 seconds, a construction worker told him this was Albanian, though he could not understand the specifics because his ex-wife. Fraser had to ask the man to bring his ex-wife for help. However, when she arrived, she flooded him with a heap of tickets. No one escapes her. Seeing the urgent situation, Fraser agreed, but the woman laughed like a maniac on hearing the recording. It turned out to be a pre-recorded speech by the Albanian president, not the robbers' dialogue. It had all been played. The robbers anticipated they'd try to stop using the food, feigning a monitored state to buy time, just as Fraser suspected. The robbers played a big game, switching hostages' rooms hourly to disrupt connections, preventing recognition. Enjoyed this story? Subscribe for more amazing content.